The news that TNA is about to go out of business. We very well may be covering the final episodes of Impact Wrestling, and it's hard to believe that the time may finally be upon us. But this is what happens when you put the title on Fail Kim. Therefore, I do not feel sorry for them one damn bit. But who I do feel sorry for are legends like Samuel Shaw, Mr. Kennedy, Brittany, Velvet Pie, Brooks Ass, all this great talent that was just starting to become red hot this year. And people want to blame Vince Russo for all of this. Well, Vince Russo is the only reason why we're doing these reviews right now. While he was gone, TNA was more boring than it's ever been. And in just a few months, he turned that around and made TNA fun again. So I don't care what anyone says. Thank you, Russo.
It's pretty sad. I'm a guy that followed TNA from its humble beginnings back when it was just a pay-per-view every week. Just becoming a huge fan of AJ Styles. And it's a shame because even though TNA tried to center themselves around old WWE guys, they had some pretty decent originals in their own right. I've personally been really out of TNA over the past few years because it just bored me to hell. And just recently, I finally started to get back into the trend, and then all of a sudden, it just comes crashing down. I mean, it's nothing that we didn't see coming because we knew that they were going down. I still have like a glimmer of hope that TNA can salvage themselves. As great as the product has been for the wrestling business around the world, from the actual business standpoint, it's been a horrible year. It's been catastrophic.
All that aside, let's enjoy the last couple of months while we still can, because TNA has been fairly entertaining the last couple of weeks. The big angle going on right now is the invasion of EC Dub. Now, a lot of people like to complain about how this is what's killing TNA and just let EC Dub die already. And I understand all that, but for me, as a short-term program right now, for the sake of the ECW crowd and giving us some old-school hardcore moments, it works. Now, if they're planning on dragging this out as long as they're on Spike TV, then that's a problem. But for right now, it works, so I'm entertained by it. Although I could do without the 50th Rhino heel turn on EC Dub and EC Dub originals like Snitsky and current undisputed EC Dub champion Ezekiel Jackson on my TV, but at least TNA knows that these guys are bigger clowns than Crazy Steve and aren't seriously going to try to sign them.
Yeah, you know, like you said, this program with ECW works for the moment, but like you said, if they drag it out, it would be a problem. But for right now, like, the way that they're utilizing it is it looks like they're going to put EC3 as the guy who finally, officially, once and for all, kills off EC Dub. And you know what? It adds more heat to the EC3 character, to the Dixie Carter character, because it makes Dixie Carter look like more of a clueless retard than people already think she is by saying that Snitsky and Ezekiel Jackson are true ECW originals. My hat's off to this. This is a great booking. As long as EC3 is a guy that puts the end to EC Dub once and for all, then this feud did not go to waste and is perfectly fine and did not contribute at all to TNA dying.
Yeah, and that's another reason why TNA being canceled is unfortunate, because of all the potential that they had in guys like Derek Bateman and Samuel Shaw and Brittany, etc. I mean, when I look at the roster right now, it reminds me a little of 2007 to 2008, where it was just stacked perfectly with a great mix of rising new talent, an X division with a lot of depth, great characters, a good amount of veterans that can help the new guys. The only thing that still sucks about it is the knockout division. Now, it's only because Fail Kim is holding it back, but they do have a good amount of talent at least.
Yeah, I noticed that too, that they just have this perfect mixture of the young guys that are up and coming and the veterans that are just coming back. And these aren't veterans that we don't want to see. Like, this is what we want to see. We got the return of Loki, Homicide. I mean, these are guys that we literally fucking salivated over back when the X Division had its thing. We have some more joke going back to the X Division, which is pretty much the only place that I think Empty Ho will ever care about him, and it actually makes him look like a bigger deal now than the the whiny pussy heel that wants his title match this week. And then we have the young guys like that muscular guy that was in that X Division match, Christian Cage's brother, Brian Cage. You know what? Even that guy impressed me. I didn't expect much from him. I thought he was just a typical musclehead, but he did a pretty good job. He actually hung in there with the X Division pretty well. A lot of great in-ring action like you'd expect from an X Division show. A lot of great matches. You had the Hardy Boys in there to put over the Wolves. You had Bobby Lashley still be that dominant heel champion that we all want to see in wrestling at this point. And then you have Austin Aries. The show basically revolving around Austin Aries and Bobby Roode, who are two of the best TNA originals that there have ever been. This is the good thing about TNA getting dieted, is that if they do manage to survive this, they will have learned their lesson, hopefully, and never push worthless superstars like Gail Kim, or people like had their time passed, or people who are new but they suck like Garrett Bischoff, or sign ex-WWE guys and push them to the moon. Like, it only works with Lashley because Lashley never hit that glass ceiling. It works with EC3 because EC3 never hit that glass ceiling. But if you pick a guy who already hit the top of the mountain and peaked in the WWE, there's no way that you can make him any bigger than he already is. We saw that with Kurt Angle. This is what TNA should be and should have been the past couple of years after they moved to Monday nights. They should have had these passionate crowds, this much roster depth, this much unpredictability, this much fun on the show, and just in general just been this product, because right now it might be too little too late.
Yes, and the truly unfortunate thing about TNA going out of business is it means no more knockouts, which means no more pigeons being let loose, or lesbian angles, or other hot TV-14 action in women's wrestling aside from Total Divas. But then again, the knockout division has been dead for the past 2 years. And at the end of the day, when everyone is talking about what killed TNA, Fail Kim will forever be remembered as the woman who permanently killed the knockout division to the point where nothing was able to save it in the end. So while it's still around, we're just going to enjoy what we have left. We got Brittany James versus Madison Rayne a couple weeks ago, and again, the Fail Kim effect is responsible for the demise of another great storyline, because these two have their match, Brittany James loses for no reason, and we have no follow-up. A storyline that had so much potential wasted because Fail Kim can't allow another knockout rivalry to overshadow her title reign. But the good thing is, TNA is at least giving us a good rivalry between the Beautiful People and Taryn Terrell, and easily the only interesting feud that Taryn Terrell can have right now, because they can actually have a feud because the Beautiful People actually have charisma, mic skills, which you need to carry a feud.
They really did make this Brittany versus Madison Rayne feud like the most important knockouts feud of them all. Even more important than what Angelina Love versus Fail Kim was. Well, that'll tell you how irrelevant Fail Kim is that they had to make something between a talentless whore like Madison Rayne and a rookie in Brittany the focal point of the division, when Fail Kim is feuding with none other than the Beautiful People, which are the two most charismatic knockouts in history. And then what do we end up getting out of it? I mean, just that, like you said, that match, and then nothing came out of it. But I'm guessing they're quitting on Brittany because they know they're on borrowed time. They don't want to take the risk on a rookie that might not pan out. So they might just go with the formula that worked for them with the Beautiful People. The only problem is that Fail Kim is going to get a little taste of this feud, a little taste of this action. And it freaking sucks because, I mean, you could just imagine how great this feud would be without Fail Kim, with just Taryn Terrell and the Beautiful People. It would be pretty awesome. But all on a downward spiral just because Phil Kim has a role to play in it and is just murdering this thing.
But that just about does it for this week, and as we count down the days until TNA's inevitable demise, the only thing we can hope is that WWE steps up and buys TNA out, because I have faith that they would do the right thing. They would job Phil Kim out to Eva Marie, they would give the Divas title to Velvet Sky, and they would book a feud between Samuel Shaw and Bray Wyatt. There's a lot of great things that would happen if WWE bought TNA out, so it's not all bad.
It would be nice to see WWE buy TNA. The only problem is I don't think they have the money to do it. I mean, they don't even have the money to keep together the greatest faction in the history of wrestling in 3MB, so I don't think they'd ever be able to afford the most valuable company in wrestling history in TNA, so I don't know, but if they were to buy it, I would definitely love to see a Bray Wyatt versus Bram feud. I think that would be pretty interesting.